Cyprus football, the passion, the thrill. The passion, the thrill. The stadiums roar, you can feel the chill. You can feel the chill. The teams are ready, the battles will start. The battles will start with dreams of glory, they'll play with heart.
Kalimera, Kalispera, wherever time you are listening or watching. This is watching too. I see too much Cypriot. Watching this is Mappa. Stel's here, Thassos is here, and we have a special guest, the returning Luke Shaw, Steve Mack. What's going on, my guy? You good?
Yeah, well, I currently feel and look like Luke Shaw after he's been gone AWOL for about a year now.
Oh boy. Well, listen, don't worry, you'll be back to full fitness after doing this. I promise.
Unless the heart gives way. I don't know what I'm in for.
Oh, you'll be all right. It's calm this week in comparison to other weeks. But you've been well though, yeah?
Yeah, I'm keeping good. Keeping well. Yourselves?
Yeah, all right. Busy as usual, but you know this league always keeps us on our toes.
Yep.
Ballerinas.
Yep. My feet are bleeding, man. I can't anymore.
Yeah. Well, we still got how many months left? 3, 4?
Oh.
And that's not including the Cup and Conference League. Cheers. Right. Thassos, let's begin. Let's just get cracking, man. Let's get cracking. Yeah. Yes. Right. Paralimni beats Ethnigor by a goal to nil. Peter Yashkupovic with the winner. Good victory for Paralimni, a clean sheet. A defensive mistake or goalkeeping mistake by Lucas Flores. It's like the second week in a row that he's been having a bit of a stinker, Thassos, but no red cards in this game. Paralimni ended the game with 11 men. It wasn't 9. No one got sent off on the bench. And it's actually the biggest story came from Ethnigor's president.
Yeah.
But let's talk about this game very briefly. Anything really to discuss apart from the goal and mistake?
Again, the player that's keeping Paralimni up, like giving them any hope, is the goalkeeper Adebayo. Like the amount of reflex saves and just at one point I saw there was this beautiful shot that was coming in from an Akhna player, and it's going top corner, and you see him leap, and he doesn't just leap and punch it away. He leaps and catches it and bounces it on the floor as if it was just like a
baby, from a tree.
Yeah. Well, okay, all right. Don't go that much. But yeah,
it's the fireman joke. Haven't you heard that one?
No.
The fireman joke. Well, there's a fireman, and he goes to save a child from the tree.
Right.
I don't know why the kid was on the tree, but the kid was on the tree.
Okay.
And he tells the kid jump down, and the mom's like, no, please. You know, he goes, don't worry, I used to be a goalkeeper. Oh. The baby jumps down, he catches the baby, bounces in, boots it.
Yeah, I remember. As soon as you said I used to be a goalkeeper, I remembered the joke. Yeah, there it is. Yeah. There it is. But yeah, Adebayo, he's very good at catching them babies.
Yes.
Yeah. But yeah, Akhna's forward line has dried up a little bit as well. In the last 3 games, they've scored 1 goal. And it was in that Addis game where they conceded 6. So, you know, they need to be really careful that all the good work that they've done in the first bit of the season doesn't go in the bin. But yeah.
Look at this comment from Chris. Fireman or firefighter? He's gone all woke on us now. Stop getting woke. This isn't the wokey cokey. We're not doing this. This is Cyprus. Nothing woke about Cyprus, as you know.
I didn't have a mug.
That's also a Petr Cech joke. Oh yeah, that's when the Chelsea kit man told the joke. Sorry, carry on. Right.
But yeah, no, that's all from me on that game. There wasn't much else.
There was something that Gigi, the Ethnigor president, said on Goal and Roll. Shall I bring it up?
Please do.
And Steve, don't worry, Thassos will do the translation for you. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Φορές παραπάνω από τον πρόεδρο της Δημοκρατίας. και σας λέω, εγώ συγκόφω το για Γενγένη. Γενγένη.
He said it with such infliction as well. My goodness.
You can only say that word with that kind of Jengeni. In essence, what he said, and this was about the Cyprus FA's head of referees, what he said was that he earns 3 times as much as the president of the Republic of Cyprus, and he called him a Jengeni, which there isn't a direct translation into English, but because it's not Greek either, it's Cypriot dialect. It's like anyway, it's a really derogatory way of calling someone lazy, like worse than layabout. Like I don't. How do I?
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, it depends on what context you used it. Some people relate it to Genghis Khan, like a proper, how can I put it, ruffian, someone that's just a lout, someone that's just horrible as a person. But as Thassos says, it's also used as, imagine Onslow from Keeping Up Appearances,
Get that white string vest out.
That's the one.
Group.
That's
yeah.
one.
Yeah, exactly. And it triggered something in me because my uncle who works out on building sites calls me a Jengenier. Because because I work on a computer, so I'm not out on site actually doing proper work.
Yeah, you don't get your hands dirty.
Yeah, well, I mean, you could argue that Messina gets his hands dirty, but I'm not making that argument. I'm not the one making that argument.
Allegedly. So, Steve, first of all, I know what you're going to ask. How is the head of the Referees Association getting 3 times as much as the president of Cyprus? I don't know the answer to that question.
Especially with what news that have come out last week or so, and how they could. I mean, to be fair, I remember a time when I came on here and you were talking about how Cypriot referees were having having car bombs, having their cars bombed. So, I mean, from a security perspective, you can understand the extra money, but I feel like the head of the referees doesn't need that. He's too far away from it all.
Yeah, I mean, it's in reference to kind of so it's I've made reference to this previously for the last month or so, but in essence, there seems to be almost like a pandemic in Cyprus of bad refereeing decisions. And what I keep saying to everybody is it's not just a Cypriot problem. It's a problem everywhere. I mean, we've seen it in the Premier League.
Don't start, because I'm an Arsenal fan and I'm not as bad as the Arsenal fans.
Yeah.
So
and then you got Real Madrid actually complaining to the government in Spain about the situation involving referees in the Primera out there.
And do you know what? I feel for Real Madrid, because they've never had a history of having a dictatorship. Something about Franco. I don't know. Sorry, I digress.
No, they've never.
Never.
Oh dear. Let's walk that way. Away from that. Yeah.
I'm just gonna move away.
But yeah, it's a problem everywhere. It's just that for some reason in Cyprus, the people think the situation is multiplied by 1,000.
Oh yes.
But yeah.
Oh yes.
But it also gives us something to talk about.
Exactly. Well, let's go on to the next game. And it is in Limassol, I believe, where Apollon beats Omoniakaradipo by a goal to 0. DeMarco with the header. Kind of rounding up a very nice week for Apollon, if you think about the transfers that have come in.
Yeah. The game itself, apart from the goal,
Just one-way traffic, really.
Yeah. Apollon were basically just camped out in Omoniakaradipo's half. They Santos had a goal disallowed for offside, rightly. But yeah, there wasn't a lot going on in that game either, to tell you the truth. They never took they never put things up a gear. It was just like a second gear the whole game.
Yeah. Steve, does the name Morgan Ferrier mean anything to you?
Why does that ring a bell?
Well, he's a centre forward that I believe. Let me just quickly check my Wikipedia just to see if I'm correct. Yeah, he played for Forest, Cray Wanderers, Crystal Palace, Bishop Stortford, Hemel Hempstead, Boreham Wood, Dagenham and Redbridge, Boreham Wood again, Walsall, Tranmere. Then he went to Maccabi Petah.
In Israel.
And now he's playing in Cyprus.
Yeah,
up front for one of the for the team that was wearing white.
Oh wow!
So, yeah.
Because I did think I recognised him just because of the Hemel connection. Only because that's now technically my local club.
There you go.
Yeah.
But he's doing all right. He's not banging in loads of goals, but he's doing all right. All right for a newly promoting.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say, what type of striker is he? Is he
hold up striker, get the ball in the box? Yeah.
So he's more just trying to enable the rest of the team to get involved more than anything else.
Pretty much. Pretty much. I think he's got 3 goals this season, 3 or 4 this season. So
I think he's, if he's not their top goal scorer, he's their second or third top goal scorer. They're not a big scoring team, these guys.
Yeah.
No.
I think the role of a striker though kind of has, and you see this across all of Europe now, you don't actually get the top out and out goal scoring strikers, or they're few and far between.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'd argue this season, like last season, I'd probably say that I'd agree with you, but this season it seems to be.
Chris Wood is an outlier. Before we go there,
yeah, Cyprus is an outlier for everything. Yeah, because last season there wasn't a lot of out and out strikers, but I think we're seeing it more this season, which again is a weird one. Like I think we're going to talk about a couple of them as we go through these games.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Well, the transfer window slammed shut for us anyway. I think they still got a few more days to bring in players that are free transfers, that have been free agents for the last 6 months. But Apollon have been quite busy, haven't they, Thassos?
It's more outs than ins this week. So outs, Julien Celestin is gone. He's been released. So 27-year-old French central defender signed for them this summer and played 12 times. Rumoured he was one of the players who handed in a request to leave after the Apollon fans attacked the VIP area after their draw with Ethnico Achna in the cup. Another player that's gone is Israkol, 31-year-old Argentinian defensive midfielder, played 124 times since signing for them in the summer of 2021. He scored 4 goals and assisted in 11, and he won the league title with them in 21-22. Now, very interesting stat-wise, but I think a lot of people who know about Cypriot football just want to watch a specific video of him celebrating the league win.
Yes, and we have it. This was probably God's best moment at Apollon. This was at full time when they secured the title and he was being interviewed live on TV. This is about 1.5 minutes, but it's well worth it.
Όλη η οικογένεια και αυτό φαίνεται έξω τα ποδητήρια και... Άκου, πάνω! Suavemente codate jolen Caliente Da macchia su Da bonina Catintelo namo pune Tove poca cara Da macchia su Da bonina Catintelo namo pune Che? Ma è chi che buona c'è Tutta se non si la me Sì, potete che
Amazing.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful.
Absolutely. And what makes it even better, not only did they get Fuera, the woman that sang that song, at their trophy presentation to sing live, it's a song that they play at the Limassol Carnival every year. It's a great song. I'm sorry, it's a great song. You have to know it, but it's a great song.
Yeah, but again, he's Argentinian, so it's not his first language.
No.
He looked like. Do you ever have it when you were growing up, when you either yourself or one of your friends tried alcohol for the first time, and you think you've got that buzz? Because it's like he's had a sip of the beer and he thinks he's drunk and he's just gone for it.
Well, the funny thing is, the guy that was with him, Cadelari, he played a pivotal role in them winning the title that season. But since then, his career's just nosedived. He went to Belgium and then he's come back to Cyprus. And has he even played for AAAAALL this season? I don't think he's had. I know last season he was injured for the majority of it. Mm-hmm. And the funny thing is, Steve, that team that won the league, it's completely different now. I mean, I think he might be the last surviving member of the title-winning team. Humboldt Hidalgo, yeah. So it's two of them. There's one left now. And that was, what, 2 years ago?
Is that because it's hard to sustain a team like that or compete, especially when you look at some of the other teams in the league? And for them, it's we've won the title. Can we realistically go for it again? Or is it a case of everyone else who are going to be fighting for it would have gone, yeah, we're going to get in some reinforcements?
I would say they shot themselves in the foot. They got rid of their title-winning coach just after they got knocked out of just after they got knocked off, just before they were knocked out of the Europa League qualifiers, because he said, well, they lost 4-0 to Maccabi Haifa or something stupid like that, and then he came out and said Cypriot football is 40 years behind places like Israel. He then said his team wasn't ready fitness-wise, they were all over the place, and some other things. And the board of directors just got rid of him, and that destroyed their season, basically. Because another coach had come in, they were playing games every 3 days, so they couldn't work on their fitness. And by the time that they'd finished going through the group stage of the Conference League, I think, and they finished like 3rd in the group, so they didn't go through to the knockout stages. When the second coach of the season thought, okay, finally we can work on our fitness, they sacked him, brought another guy in. And he only lasted till February.
This is still pretty good by some Cypriot team standards, isn't it, though?
Well, yeah. But that chain of hiring and sacking and bringing in 20-odd players in the
completely
beginning,
just dismantles it.
Getting rid of a load of players. That's just kept going every time. And they've really struggled since that league win to get anywhere near the top 2 or 3 teams.
It's mad.
Yeah, it's mad. It's mad, the drop off. But yes,
it's mad, but it's normal as well, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
you know, I mean, I think they had 4 coaches that season, didn't they? The season after they won the league.
Yeah, they started with Zorniger, then they had Gadala, then they had Magridi, and then they had what's his face? Romanian guy. Bogdan. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. And then Bogdan only lasted 2 games into the new season before they brought in Milojevic. He left by end of November to go to Red Star. Then they brought in another coach.
Keeps on coming.
Machine, who they got rid of at the end of the season. Then they brought in Adrian Goulart, got rid of him. Now they've got a guy who was manager for them the season before they won the league.
Yeah.
So they've kind of gone full circle. If anything, they're going to win the league next season.
Yeah, well,
That's
well.
Things have changed.
Yeah, they've changed a lot. They've changed a lot. But see, this is the thing, right? Going back to what you're asking regarding, other teams improving. Yeah, other teams do improve, but teams like Apollon, and it's not just them. It's a few other teams as well. Even the big clubs. What they tend to do is they sign players on 2-year deals, right?
Yeah.
So at the end of that year, they probably think, well, we can bring in another player either on less money or more money, depending on what their targets are. But it also depends on the sporting director and which agents they're good friends with and what agreements they can make with certain agents. So we'll get rid of 10 players in the summer because they're out of contract, but we'll bring in 8 players with this particular, or say 4 players with this agent, 4 with that, and we'll make our cut in that way.
I would never question
Allegedly.
the integrity of I'd never question the integrity of sporting directors, but just before I came on tonight, I was looking at some of the teams and the different squads that they've got, and you can almost see like a cluster of players from certain regions, and then you can almost go, I wonder if that sporting director has contacts there.
Yeah,
and
so
it's very concentrated.
Yes, I mean, for Apollon, for instance, Apollon, we're taken to calling them Apollo, with AUX on the end of it this season
French.
because of the amount of French players that they've signed, which included that Celestin. But yeah, there's been so many players from like the Championnat in France, the 3rd division. So
technically, Bolly is actually Scottish, which is even more worrying.
Yes, he's Basil Bowley's nephew, I think.
Yeah.
The guy that headbutted Stuart Pearce. Anyway, anything else?
They did sign someone. They signed.
They did.
They signed Joseph Gvida from Bafo until the end of next season. 28-year-old Czech central defender, had been at Bafo since summer 2020, but has been out of favour this season. I don't know. Did he fall out with management, or I'm not sure.
Yeah, he kicked off before the Elfsborg Conference League, Europa League qualifier. Kicked off with management. Not sure exactly what it was about, but he hasn't played since. So, you don't want to piss off Roman Dubov. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah,
that's all I'm saying. That's why we're kind of nice to him.
Yes. Yes, or when we do talk about him, we make sure that he's not mentioned by name, just in case.
I don't want anything on my handles. Thank you very much. Allegedly.
Yes.
Right.
So, Gvida has played 136 times for Bafo prior to this season. So.
Yes.
And he looks an absolute giant based on his picture of the signing. I mean, the other guy could be my height as well, so that could just add to it, but...
Well, he's a good defender. He's a good defender, but Buff are top of the league at the moment, so they're all right without him so far. Gulli says, "Get care like Exa." Yeah, exactly. Sofroni's El Gato. Yeah, let's not talk about him, please. I beg. I don't want to talk about Sofroni, the Apollon head coach. I don't want to talk about him. Have you seen the video that Apollon released on their social media?
What about Sofroni?
Yeah.
Passion personified, or whatever it was.
So Steve, this coach, he's like the Harry Redknapp of Cyprus football.
No, I won't call him Harry Redknapp.
No,
Alan Pardew.
No, Bamboy's Harry Redknapp.
Okay, so what would you say Sofroni is?
Big
Sam?
Yeah, more like a Big
Sam. He's like a Big Sam. Yeah, he managed England for a cup of coffee. So did Sofroni. He managed Cyprus for a cup of coffee. Yeah, so that works out right. Yeah, so he's like the Big Sam.
Are they? So they're basically tennis players in their spare time because of the amount of backhands. Allegedly.
Sofroni does go to the gym quite a lot in Limassol. My friend's seen him at his gym, so yeah, he's But look, at the end of the day, it's the 3rd time he's been their head coach. He left the Cyprus national team job to take the job again, and I call him a passion merchant because he's all passion, no tactics. And lo and behold, the Apollon social media did a video of him today just punching the air, and they said passion personified. There you go. I think they've been watching the show. I don't know. Anyway, shall we move on?
Yes.
Okay, let's move on. Let's move on to my lovely club, my lovely Omonia, who absolutely battered Garmiodisa by 3-0. Stepinski giving us the lead before Evandro came off the bench to make it 2. And then another substitute, the Passion Merchant, number 2, Captain Teflon Gusolo, made it 3. Easy win. I don't think our players even broke a sweat, in all fairness. Thassos, what did you make of it?
Yeah, very straightforward win. The last goal's the best one out of all of them. Like you talked about Gusolo there, but that was the one that probably involved the most skill, kind of finish-wise. Evandro, I think his goal was more Epasi, the goalkeeper, not just for some reason not being able to get to the ball. And that first goal was a tap-in for Stepinski. Like the Garmiodisa defenders completely switched off. And I don't know what they were going for there. But yeah, horror show from Garmiodisa. But again, the team's been gutted. A few of their good players have been sold in January to different teams. So, they're
going to struggle now, aren't they?
They are going
to struggle.
I think, yeah. They lost Dumbia last week. They lost. We'll get to other players that they've lost as well.
Yep.
Unless there's anything else you want to add, Steve.
All I was going to say in those highlights, the defending was just absolutely atrocious for most, if not all. You kind of alluded to it. The first goal, they've tried to spring like an offside trap, and even when the ball's gone past them, they've all stood still. You've got 4 attackers just basically lining up for the tap-in. Mm-hmm. I'm not surprised the keeper ended up sort of giving up towards the end. You see, maybe could have done better on the corner, but if he's not getting support in front of him, there's just no sort of defensive shape to even block shots. I mean,
that's the second time this season they've gone with 5 at the back. Usually it's 4 at the back, but because they're so depleted with players coming and going, they had no option but to go 5 at the back. It was like a 5-4-1, and even that back line, no matter how many defenders you can have in that back line, they can't defend. Sorry.
No, I was going to say sometimes quantity doesn't necessarily equal quality in terms of defending. Mm-hmm. They end up getting in each other's way. They don't know whether they step out, whether they man mark, the spaces that they take, and especially from a wing back perspective or a full back perspective, if you don't go forward, you're just inviting an overload down the channels on them.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it was a straightforward victory for Omonia. I mean, we're bagging in goals for fun at the moment. The football isn't attractive, but we're getting points. And, as much as I was totally against having an interim manager, I mean, we've still got an interim coach, and Dabrauskas was sacked in November. Mm-hmm. So we're still waiting for a new head coach. So Yanni has come in as interim head coach, and 20 points since he's taken charge. Only the teams above us have secured more points in that time. So he's doing something right. Anyway, let's see. Speaking of my team, we've made one signing on deadline day, and that was
Garmiodisa defender Stefan Simic.
Yeah.
So 19 appearances since he signed for them in the summer. One of the highlights from me was when he did that people's elbow on Gagulis in the first fixture between Omonia and Garmiodisa, and no penalty was given. Like he absolutely, like Gagulis was on the floor and he just went boom like that on him.
Look, he's just excited like the rest of us that WWE's now on Netflix. So
yes,
I completely understand it. He was probably watching it, just getting a few moves in.
but he won't be able to do that on Gaguli anymore, except in training, obviously.
Yes.
Yes. Now, there's also been a transfer out at Omonia since we spoke, and that is Veljko Simic has left Omonia.
Yeah. No relation. One is from the Czech Republic, one is from Serbia. They're not even. They're not related. They've got the same surname, but they're not related.
Yeah. So he's joined Sivasspor in Turkey. 29-year-old Serbian winger. signed for Omonia last summer, played 66 times, scored 6 and assisted in 9 goals. So there you go.
The only thing I'm praying that the club done is please tell me they gave him the same number.
It would be weird to because what was Simic before? He was 19, right?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. No.
Now the transfer strategy at Omonia this winter has garnered some rather negative comments from a lot of fans. They're not happy with what's gone on, except for obviously your friend Stel leaving, your Hungarian friend leaving, and
Adam Lang
and going to Debrecen.
Yeah. Well, look, I'll be honest with you. I can only say what I hear, and Simic wasn't first choice. From what I've been told, the scouting team recommended close to 15 players in the last 4 or 5 months to come in because they knew that Adam Lang was gone. I'm talking about 15 players overall, not just at centre back. And they went for a player that none of the scouting team recommended. So make of that what you will. But listen, at the end of the day, I think Omonia are just frustrated, or the fans are frustrated because we had this lad coming over from Malmo for his medical, and then he failed his medical, and a couple of days later, he passes his medical at Aarhus in Denmark. So what happened there?
Is it just a case of, because looking at your squad, is it like you flip a coin and heads you'll sign someone from Scandinavia, tails it's someone from Africa?
Well, see, this is the thing, because unlike most other clubs in Cyprus, we've kept a lot of the players that were there last season. Right, we had 10, 11 departures, and 10, 11 players came in, but the core group was still there from last season. Although African players, Alium is on loan, Koulibaly we signed a couple of years ago. But mate, to be honest, it's just a fucking mess. It's a fucking mess. The transfer policy has been an utter mess, and they don't learn from their mistakes. You know, we signed a player in the summer, this Israeli guy. I said we shouldn't sign him. One of the reasons being his reputation. I'll tell you more about it later. And the second thing is that he's got a constant knee problem, but they signed him, and then lo and behold, by December he's gone.
Yeah.
And he was on big money as well. Big money. Anyway, whatever.
I don't understand some, and this isn't like a Omonia thing here. This is like some clubs in general, and still we've spoke about this off separately before. When if you're a club, you kind of identify a playing style, philosophy, whatever you want, whatever that may be, you identify it, and then you try and get people in that suit that criteria. And then if you've got a scouting network, you're advising them, I want this player, I want these attributes, I want these behaviours, these whatever you want. And then if you're just going to ignore them, what's the point in having scouts? What's the point of having that infrastructure in the squad where, ironically, you could probably sack them off, save the money, and then just become friends of a well-connected agent, which sometimes some football clubs do that with mixed success.
Put it this way, as you know, mate, you can't implement a strategy and chop and change it every 6 months.
No.
And that's been Omonia's problem for God knows how long. Listen, for the last 4 or 5 years, I can tell you that's been the strategy. Think of a strategy, then smash it in half 6 months in. That's effectively what they've been doing. But Omonia's fight at the moment hasn't been... the club has been fighting with not only fans, because of the transfers. They've been fighting with the Cyprus FA, they've been fighting with the referees, they've been fighting with other clubs as well because of some tax things. It's like they're fighting everyone at the moment. And the people that they need to keep on side of the fans, they're letting them down. The club announced a record 11,500 season ticket holders at the beginning of the season, and they're running the club like a circus.
And is this like, I know this is like 6 years down the line or 7 years down the line from it. Didn't Omonia sort of have a Phoenix club or like a secondary club come out of this because of how frustrated they were at the club being run? And aren't they
Well,
now in the same division?
Yes.
Yeah, they're playing each other the weekend.
Oh, Christ.
Yeah, no fans are going to be there, though.
Yeah, no away fans are allowed at the game, apparently. So.
And
And
the home fans won't be going.
Yeah, and the home fans won't be going because they don't like the fan card.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was going to say, if it's because of the rivalry, just do what the... is it Boca and River Plate? The fans... anyone see what they've done? They were banned from attending the game, so they decided to fight each other on Fortnite instead.
No, that's a beautiful solution.
Oh my god,
That's beautiful.
400 deaths. One fan died 26 times. No injuries though. So it's. I'm sure it was River and Boca.
That's how you do it. That is how you do it.
Amazing.
Yeah.
That is amazing. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have to take note.
Fine.
But yeah.
Yeah. Right. Shall we move on to Academy Odyssey because they've had yeah. Right. So top right, Podthor, our friend. He follows us on all social media platforms.
Yes.
Podthor was at Real Madrid Academy, Man City's Academy, and then he ended up at Academy Odyssey being one of the best players. He's now gone to
Slask Wrocław. Wrocław? Slask Wrocław. Wrocław? Wrocław. Wrocław?
You sound like you're having a stroke, and that's what I sound.
That's
what I sounded like last year. Like I had like a little episode, and that's what I was doing.
He's
just going slash. Because like, is his internet broken?
He's joined Slask in the extra class in Poland.
Okay.
Yes.
Lie. Oh my god. Sorry. That is
Wrocław.
outrageous, but funny.
Wrocław.
That's why we have you on, bro. I'm just going with what you're saying, bro. It's fine. I agree with you.
Okay, because yeah.
Sorry, I feel so...
Anyway,
silly.
Yes. So, Podthor has shown himself to be a classy and skillful player, but he will probably be best remembered in the Brodathlima for the incident with the referee's spray can.
Yeah, I don't have that clip again.
Oh, you don't have the clip. Basically, the referee drops his little foam spray can on the floor, and nobody notices, and it's just outside the box. And I think Podthor is about to take a shot, and just stamps into the spray can, and it just explodes. You just see just this white cloud of smoke just come out the pitch. It's beautiful. It's beautiful.
Actually, no,
it's art.
I've got it on X. One second.
You're gonna find it.
I found it. Here we go. So this is it. Here you go.
Art. But yeah,
work of art. Right, next.
Yeah. Yes. Oh yeah. Sorry, Garbiodis have also signed Banayodis Artimadas on loan from Apollon.
Yes, and they marked his debut. And they marked his debut with a wonderful post there. Can you see something? Have you noticed something?
Yeah.
The Ibat.
Yeah. The but.
But.
Yes.
I tell thee, but.
So. Yeah. So 26-year-old centre back. It was in the Paralimni and the West Brom youth setups.
Ooh.
Went to Anorthosi, Aegifisias, and spent last season on loan at Ethnikos. So he had a lot of potential when he was young, obviously being in the West Brom youth setups. But like his brother at Anorthosi, he's been hampered by a lot of long-term injuries. So, hopefully he gets another full season to get him going again.
That's one. There's a couple more buts.
Oh yeah, there you go.
The butts, the butts,
the butts,
the butts. That's what we should call them from now on. The butts. The butts. Not gonna remember this. They're the butts.
Yep.
Do they not like the letter D? Like just a...
No, they do not like the D.
They don't like the D. The delta. They don't like the delta. No delta. No. We're not doing this now. Right. Next, Thassos.
Next.
Oh, is that it? Right. Okay. I think this is going to be a fun one. Well. Thassos up well, drew 2-2 away at Anorthosi. They took the lead through Abanya before an equalizer from who else? Thassos? Rafa Lopez.
And his
It's
head,
almost as if with his head again.
Yeah.
And then Chrysopoulos made it 2-1 before half-time, before El Arabi made it 2-2. However, 2 red cards, both of them for upper world players. The first one being for Doni in injury time, and the second yellow for Galanobullo. But I think this second booking, this second red card of the game is going to, how shall we say, dominates this conversation, because what you're about to see, this is the Doni challenge, which I can kind of see why
it's
that was
a red
card.
Yeah,
it's a red. It's hard, late.
But the second yellow for Galanobullo, again, it's about to come up on your screen, boys and girls, for the benefit of for the listeners. I think Thassos should explain what's about to happen. You explain, Thassos.
I mean, do I have to? So
you explain.
So, it didn't really show.
Don't worry. Just explain it and I'll bring it up.
Okay. In essence, what ended up happening? So both teams were playing a very aggressive press, and Anorthosi were going. They had possession, and Galanopoulos obviously goes in for the press. Tries to run towards the player in possession at the time, and the referee gets in the way, falls over, gets in the way, and Galanopoulos loses his balance as he's trying to stick his foot out to try and control the ball. So the referee, rather than stopping the game and doing a drop ball situation because he's impeded in play, like what you're supposed to do, instead blows for a free kick against Abuel and gives Galanopoulos a second yellow card, which is such a balls to the wall decision. Like I don't understand where that's come from, and a lot of Abuel fans did not understand where that came from either.
I'm just going to bring it up again. I don't care. I'm bringing it up again because it's brilliant.
Look, so he falls over. As the player's trying to run in.
Because, he stacks it, and you can see the player trips on him.
Here you go.
And then it's just like, oh, shit. Oh, man.
You've got to love his teammate behind, though. When you see the ref stand there, he just has that look going, fuck, he's going to do it, isn't he? He's going to send him off.
Right. So the guy behind, right, that's Sergio Tejera. He is a surefire bet for a yellow card.
Yeah.
Like every match he's on, put money on him getting a yellow card. Oh, yes. He's always on it. And he was already on a yellow card. And so this is where I'm going to be fair and balanced instead of just argue about the decisions against Abuel. Tejera should have gone off just because of the amount of tackles that he'd thrown in. It's the same thing as well with Marquinhos. He barely reacted to a lot of the tactical fouls that Marquinhos was doing. The ref had no control of this game whatsoever. Obviously, both teams were playing a hard press, again, very aggressive. The game was back and forth. There was a lot of chances, a lot of free kicks. There was a lot of free kicks, a lot of set plays, a lot of chances for both teams. But yeah, the referee had no control of that game whatsoever. Like, there's so many places where he should have given a card, places where he shouldn't have given a card and ended up giving one. Just decisions were absolute apeshit. And for people who have been complaining about the refs in the league, right? Foreign ref, foreign VAR. So we again specify the problem is global. It's not just in Cyprus. But yeah, there was also a situation where a lot of AAAAALL fans will argue that Piero Sotiriou was manhandled by Gargas in the box at one point. I think if it's given, it's soft, and the Anorthosis fans would kick off. But there's also an argument for it to be given because there's arms going across Sotiriou as they're both trying to run onto a loose through ball. But yeah, it was a great game, and it's so disappointing to be just talking about the ref's performance because it was a fantastic game to watch.
It was a good game of football, but the one thing I noticed is that in this particular game, when AAAAALL are a goal up, they're dominant. Anorthosis equalise against the run of play, then they go 2-1 up, and then you guys go flat. You get a goal again, great goal to be honest, a great pass leading El Arabi, and afterwards you just dominant again. But that period where you'd been drawn level and went down 2-1, it's like you completely folded. It's just that you guys got a goal early in the second half, which kind of gave you that momentum.
Yeah.
But to be honest, given the way you guys played, 2 points drop, no?
I don't know, because looking at the way Anorthosis were playing, especially when, especially for the last 20 minutes, I think a draw is a fair result.
Okay.
I'd argue a draw doesn't help anybody there. Obviously, both teams fighting for certain things, and a draw doesn't help anybody. That first goal, that second goal, was it the first one or the second one? The corner, the marking for that corner, just the static. There was that second and third ball they could get to, they didn't get to, and Chrysopoulos just smashes it into the net. How many chances are you going to give him to put it into the net?
Yeah, but Thassos, this is what we've been saying for a couple of weeks now. You guys won the league last season because defensively you were solid.
Yeah.
This season,
in the bin. It's in the bin.
This season, you're horrendous defensively.
Yeah. I'd also like to point out as well, El Arabi, you rest him for a week or so, and look at that goal he scored. 38-year-old sprints past the Anorthosis defense, and then just smashes the ball into the top corner for a fantastic goal. But he's rested. He's not playing 90 minutes every 4 days. He's been rested, as you should do. You should be protecting your 38-year-old forward player. But yeah.
I was going to say, is that more of an issue this season where there hasn't been that squad rotation or protecting the older players who can make an impact, and it's essentially running them into the ground, expecting them to perform week in, week out when they might need that break?
I think it's more so kind of like we talked about Apollon earlier. It's exactly the same situation.
Okay.
Except they started with a new coach after the coach that won the league, and the club couldn't agree on an extension to the contract. They brought in...
Steve, Sapinto was the head coach last season that won on the league.
Okay.
And he left in the summer. They brought in a coach. Sorry, go on.
Yeah, so we brought in a coach. I'm pretty sure a lot of the signings were made without him agreeing to the signings. And there were massive fitness issues with the team in the summer. I don't know what the hell went on during pre-season, but it was weird. Because of those fitness issues, the European qualification situation in the summer was an absolute mess. So that coach gets sacked. They bring in the assistant coach from last season, and he gets to again the international break, and he's telling everybody, "Good, we've got an international break now. I can work on the fitness of the players. I can get them to a point where we will be doing what we need them to do." During the international break, they sack him and bring in Manolo Jimenez, who has basically continued the league form that we've been in since the beginning of the season. So there's been no improvement in the league. There's been an improvement in the Conference League. We were getting, we beat Fiorentina. We've got some really good results in the Conference League. But in the league, it's the same old as what was happening from the beginning of the season.
Because you've got Max Meyer there, haven't you?
Yes,
I know he
and
barely
he's not
played.
playing.
No.
He's not playing.
Is that injury or is that just it?
Again,
don't like him.
Yeah,
don't like him.
Fitness issues. They don't like him. I don't know what it is. Me, when we brought him in, I thought that was going to be, it was going to be explosive. We were going to see something from him. He started off well enough. He came off the bench a couple of times during European qualifications, and when he came on, he was terrorizing the defenses, and then nothing. And then over the last month or so, he's been coming back, and then again, we're back to nothing again.
Because I worry sometimes that players like that, they come in and at the time they've budgeted for that type of player, but then when you sort of flesh out the rest of the squad in different areas, sometimes his appearance fees or his basic wage might be, do you know what, we can't actually afford to play him. And I've seen that happen a few times with certain players. I don't know if that's the same with him. I know he's had a bit of a turbulent career with injuries. Because I remember when he signed for Crystal Palace, like loads of people in Germany were, you've got a great player there, just keep him fit. And I don't know if that's a story throughout his career or if it's a bit more financial purposes.
It could be a bit of both. I mean, again, we talked about the fitness issues with the team. So obviously somebody with an injury record like that and the pre-season has been a mess. It's not going to help. But then again, we've got Donis, who is also very injury prone. And he's been one of our star players this year so far. So I don't know. It is a strange one.
Did his dad play for Blackburn?
Donis, yeah.
Gosh, yeah.
I would say that's not Barclay League. That's like prep. That's like early 90s. That's
he's not Barclays man. He's he's quite far back.
He's like Carling.
Yeah,
Carling. Yeah.
Got any league to this?
That's it. Well, there is something else we need to briefly talk about relating to AAAAALL, and it was the cup game against Buffalo, which they lost on penalties.
Oh yeah.
Now, something happened just as Buffalo were about to take their first penalty. Interesting. Let's have a look.
No, we're going to show this away. All right.
We're going to show it. Check this out. You might notice something.
Just a warning to anyone watching this who has epilepsy. We apologise.
Oh yeah, we've done that before. Yeah. Yeah.
So that went viral, not from us. Someone put it on their website and it went viral. It was a poor penalty. Let's get it right. Even if that light wasn't flashing, but what the fuck was that? I need to know. What was that? Was that one of those torches you'd see on QVC? That's like you can shine this from like 20,000 meters away.
It's now
on see on Jupiter.
It's now on TikTok Shop. If you when you light it up, your whole back garden just becomes like it's daytime.
Yeah. Use the code. This is Mappa 30 for 30% off.
Maybe it's just an excited fan taking a selfie. They just want to be like, look, I'm at the penalty shootout.
Yeah.
You know what's going to happen now? Every time there's a penalty shootout, there's going to be somebody with one of those.
I mean, is this just not like? Christ, I realise how old it makes me sound. Is this like the same what we had with the laser pens? So it's the same thing. It's just a different object this time.
Yeah,
I remember like the laser pens, like the green right in someone's eye.
Yeah.
This time it'll be strobe lighting. Yeah.
I'm actually kind of impressed at the same time. Like, first of all, like, what was that? What? Like, obviously it was a light, but what kind of light was it? Is it using nightclubs? Is it used? I don't know, for beach parties. I don't know.
No, GK is right. It's the light that you turn on in the car and your dad freaks out.
Hang on. Did anyone else when growing up get told it was illegal to have it on when they were driving?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Can't have it on, it's illegal. And like you're sitting in the back seat like, oh shit. Get to like my mid-30s and I'm like, I hope I don't get pulled over. Why would you get pulled over? Oh, fuck.
Yeah,
So,
do you know what though?
I'm
Do you know
going
what?
to
I'm
be
not gonna
saying the
lie.
exact same thing.
I'm not gonna lie. You know those lights that they use on the motorways when they're doing roadworks? You know the square ones and the cone shaped ones. We used to nick those. We used to take them and we used to put them in our rooms and just like have a. That was our thing.
Okay. Well, maybe it was one of them. Maybe it was one of them.
That was powerful, man.
Yeah.
I may have had an incident of that, but I got caught, so we didn't talk about that one.
There was
uni days. Days were the days.
Yeah.
Oh yes, beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
There was another incident during that penalty shootout as well, where Mario Cilia took a penalty for Thassos and hit the ball so hard into the net, he actually destroyed the net. Like they had to put it back together again before they could continue with the penalty shootout.
You're making me do it again.
Yeah,
You're making me do it again.
Here it is. And then they spent what? It felt like 4 or 5 minutes trying to put it back together again.
Yeah.
He's broken the bar at the back, not even the. How's the whole bar come down?
Smashed it.
The pole, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, the stanchion at the back. It came out the hole. So they're trying to untie the string or whatever it is, and they're trying to get it in the hole, but they
won't
can't
be able
do
to
it
because
there's not enough what's it called, torque,
give
whatever
on
you
the
want to call it.
Yeah, you almost have to.
There you go. And then there's a third guy comes along.
I love how the fans are leaning over. Like, do you want me to hold it? Like, what are you going to do, guys?
They're just smoking their cigarettes, man. I don't give a shit.
No, man. There's a moat in between them and the fans.
Oh,
yeah.
I tell you what, I'd hate to be the next penalty taker. All this time, whilst you're lining up, going, "Where shall I hit? Where shall I?"
But yeah, Buffalo end up winning the game, so they're in the next round.
Great,
so,
great.
Anyway,
beautiful,
anything else?
Thanks.
Anything else? Anything else?
No, not for me.
There's no shame in losing to Watford B. So.
Here you go.
Shots fired. I'm gonna keep that. There's a lot of nicknames for a lot of the teams that I've got going. Watford B is going to be.
Do you know what? I say it as a joke, but I don't think it's a terrible thing having multi clubs. Like if you can latch off of other teams and some of their better players, and you can move them around, it creates this whole consistency between the different clubs, and you can move players on, and it can also benefit the, I don't want to say lesser teams, but the feeder clubs in that situation. They can benefit from it too.
Yep. Although, to be fair, Bath have been more successful than Watford in the last year, so...
Yeah, I mean, that's not hard.
Wow, for a Cypriot club. First had how many managers in the last... Mind you, Watford have been just as bad with the managerial changes.
I was going to say, Watford's most used picture on X is the corner flag.
Oh, yeah.
Whenever they make an announcement,
Yeah. But I swear they had to do one earlier this season going, announcement, we trust Tom Keverley. And then they get battered the next game and they're like, we might just quote tweet and say, yeah, no, we don't. He could be at Bathos in a few years. You never know.
You never know. Stranger things have happened in Cyprus anyway. Right, let's move on. Let's move this thing on. And we're going to go to Larnaca, where AAAAALL beats AAAAALL by 2-0. Faraj giving AAAAAL the lead. And then they all did a penalty. And surprisingly, Enzo Cabrera stepped up and he missed. I never thought I'd say that. Cabrera missing from the spot. Pere Pons made it 2-0 before the end, although AAAAAL thought they had a good goal but it was disallowed for offside, which was a good decision in my opinion anyway. But Thasso, AAAAALL are in deep doo-doo right now. We're not going to talk about them just yet. AEK, they're back on track again, aren't they?
Yeah. So they basically walked again. They walked this game. They could have, if they wanted to, they could have shown up and probably stuck 4 or 5 past AAAAALL. But yeah, it's what it is. AEK. It's strange seeing AEK perform as well as they are doing at the moment, considering how badly their European competition
Again
at the beginning of the season kind of ended up going. But yeah, Henningberg, we said, is he going to be able to get something to work with this team? And yeah, he is. No comments. He's doing a very good job with his team. They've made no changes to the roster this transfer window, and they don't need to. They're doing well enough as they are. First goal, beautiful goal from Faraj.
He's still at the club as well. Still at the club after like a couple of years. We thought he might end up in France or don't know, Saudi Arabia or something. But he's still there and he's doing well. Just gets on with it, really.
Yeah. And Perepons was the one who scored the second one, although the commentator on the game said it was Miramon who scored it. Even though you can hear in the background the stadium announcer is going, Pere, and then the fans are going, Pons, Pere, Pons. So
yeah, but listen, no disrespect to the commentators, but the other day but during the Omonia Karmiodisa game, he called Willy Semedo Loizu.
Oh, that's
Willy Semedo is a 6-foot black guy. Loizu is a 5'4" Cypriot. It's easy to make that mistake, I guess.
Yeah, he's just further away. He just looks taller.
Yes. There you go. See. But yeah, AAAAALL, their situation is critical now, isn't it? It's got. That's the only word I can use to describe it.
7 league games without a goal. Yeah.
Do they have a striker?
Yes, they do, and they have a striker who's very experienced in the league, to the point where it's so weird seeing him not being able to score. It's Ivan Triskovsky. So he played for Apoel for a couple of seasons, banged a load of goals in. He's a top goal scorer, top performance. Top appearance and top goal scorer in the history of AEK in their 30 years they've been around so far. And he's come to AAAAALL, and between him, Magris, and 4 or 5 other forwards that they've got, they just can't put the ball in the net. They just can't.
Sounds like they need a speech coach because they can't finish a sentence.
Hey, nice.
I've been lining that one up. Sorry.
Well, listen, I have absolutely zero sympathy for them.
And why is that?
Well, I will tell you, Steve. I will tell you. This is where Thassos is going to be like, this is where Stel's. So, AAAAALL were handed a fantastic opportunity in September to link up with a club in Africa and use a similar model to the Right to Dream method, where they send players from Right to Dream Academy to Nordsjælland, develop them, sell them on. That's why you've seen Kudus, Andriga, Partey, etc., etc. They were handed this opportunity. Now, their then technical director, Panayotis Yannou, was spearheading it, and a meeting was called at the end of October between the owner of said club in Africa, AAAALL's vice president, and the technical director. Meeting occurred end of October, and the agreement was the African guys are going to go to Cyprus beginning of the year 2025, thrash out a deal, make it happen. Yeah. So the plan was to send some players from this academy to AAAALL, get them developed, sell them on. The academy would make a profit, a percentage, and the club would make the money. Now, bearing in mind that this club, one of the guys that's running the ship, is a very well-known coach in that part of the world, and he's helped produce the likes of Boniface and Osimhen and various other players for Africa. Okay, so you're thinking this is a good model, and don't forget, 3 or 4 players from this academy are actually playing in Norway, various parts of Scandinavia, and are probably going to be sold on for more money in the future. Right. So the opportunity was there. You got first choice on these players. You could take them on board, no problem. So what happens? The week after this meeting occurs in October, the technical director of AAAALL is sacked. It's okay because the vice president is still overseeing things. Or so it would seem. A couple of weeks ago, Marino Sacha, the head coach of AAAALL, was sacked, the guy that replaced Chris Coleman. And the vice president, no one knows where he went. Turns out he left the club as well, but that no announcement was made. So as a result, there's been no communication between AAAALL and the academy because no one at AAAALL is actually responding to any messages. So the deal is dead. The club is in the shit financially. They had the opportunity to make potentially millions because don't forget, Africa's a big continent. It's a very, very, very big continent, especially one country in particular where this academy is from. Close to 20 million people in that country, or in the city, should I say. So the opportunities for branding, marketing, potential investment from the owner of the academy, because the owner of the academy also owns a club in Scandinavia, and the plan was also to send AAALL's young players to that club in Scandinavia to get some experience. So that has gone down the shitter. Oh well. Cheers.
Yeah. Yeah. This is a club that sacked Chris Colbert because while the results against teams, lesser teams, has been good, results against the bigger teams have not been good. And that's why we got rid of Chris Coleman. So then they bring in Marino Sachas, who didn't do a good job, but he wasn't, like, from the beginning.
He's like George Graham going to Spurs.
Yeah, pretty much.
So he's basically inherited an absolute shit show and had to steady the ship or try to.
Yeah,
and the fans
with the fans on his back from the beginning as well. Because while this coach, while he was a player at AAAALL, during the game, he basically went up to all the AAAALL fans like this. So, and as you know, football fans forget things. It's very hard for them to forget things. So even like in the press conference to announce him, there was a massive to-do about, look, this is why we brought him in. This is what we did. It was very confrontational. And yeah, it kind of started from there and got worse. So they got rid of him, and now they brought in an interim head coach to go till the end of the season, which if this interim head coach lasts until the end of the season, he would have lasted longer than, he would have managed more games than both Chris Coleman and the guy who replaced Chris Coleman.
And he's still interim.
And he will only be interim. So, yeah, absolute mess. Now,
with some clubs, you might as well just be called interim managers. Like, there shouldn't be anything that's permanent.
Yeah, exactly. Now, there's that going on. Obviously, at boardroom level, it's an absolute mess. At coaching level, it's an absolute mess. And at fan level, it's an absolute mess. So, there's been a lot of trouble between AAAALL fans and the police over the last, over this season so far. There's been a lot of trouble between the fans and the police, and that continued before and after this game. So the Cyprus police, after the game, reported that another Navy grade flare was fired at the squad, which was there to provide security an hour before the game. So an officer riot gear was struck, but there were no serious injuries. The leader of the squad asked the referee to cancel the match. The referee
sorry to interrupt.
Sorry?
Sorry to interrupt. The picture on the right, that just looks like every non-league footballer's sock.
So,
sorry.
No, go on.
I was just going to say, it sounds like, obviously, the club is a shit show from top to bottom.
Yeah.
But the fans' relationship with the police isn't necessarily the hatred towards the police. It's them acting out because of the frustrations of... No? Oh, it is. Okay.
I'd say it's a bit of both. So they're obviously frustrated with what's happening with the club, but there's also been a lot of animosity between...
History.
Yeah.
History.
A lot of history between the club's fans and the police at these games. So, another Navy grade flare was thrown. They didn't say which club it was, but what I will say is, in a previous incident involving a Navy grade flare, it was AAAAALL fans who fired it at the police, who were protecting the opposition team's coach as it was driving to the stadium. Now, the referee said to the leader of the police that he would stop the match if there was more trouble reported between then and the start of the game, but there wasn't any further incidents. After the game, however, the police were attacked by both sets of fans with rocks and further flares and Molotov cocktails thrown at police. It was also revealed that this was probably premeditated because a lot of the stuff that was thrown at the police was shown to be hidden around the stadium, not in the stadium, but outside around the stadium. So fans went afterwards specifically to go after the police. So the press representative for the police called the incidents a war against the police in stadiums now. So there was a short statement from AAAAALL released after the statement from the police, saying the club expresses its strong condemnation of the violent incidents at the end of the AAAAALL Larnaca Limassol match outside the AAAAAL Arena Stadium, and we declare our readiness to cooperate with the police in combating violence in the stadiums. At the same time, we express our wishes for a speedy recovery for the police officer who was injured in the recent incidents. Now, over the last couple of days, the situation has been made worse. The Cyprus Police Union is proposing that police officers at games be outfitted with weapons that fire rubber bullets, amongst other measures. And then there was an announcement by the President of the Republic, like 2-3 hours before we started recording, saying that a law will be presented in Parliament, which will allow a certain amount of things, including allowing the police to dictate when away fans will and won't be allowed to attend games. So they won't just inform the Cyprus FA of their
recommendations.
Basically, can you please tell them to not have away fans at this game? They'll just announce no away fans at this game, final. Not only, excuse me, sorry. Not only that, they're also. Oh God, I'm losing my voice a bit. You might have to take over still. Sorry.
Go on. So where are we? So we've got. So yeah. So it's a new bill. It's actually been approved now, hasn't it?
Has it been approved? I thought they were putting it through Parliament.
I think it's been approved. So you've got the away fans ban. You've got an alcohol and drug testing system where they're going to do random breathalyzer and drugs tests within stadiums, and those found under the influence of drugs will be arrested immediately, and alcohol limits are going to follow road safety regulations. So, okay, if you're too drunk to drive, then you can't get in the stadium. They're going to upgrade the surveillance within 12 months. So I think stadiums with over 500 seats have to have modern camera systems, which is going to be integrated with the new fan card system, which again, that's going to be another, I don't know. They're going to have professional security guards. So only certified security professionals are going to be allowed within the stadium as stewards. So it's not going to be like, someone's uncle.
Yeah.
And there's going to be constitutional issues regarding fan associations, which are like the ultras, and they're going to have to consult them further. And it's just going to be a more draconian kind of way.
Well, I mean, not only from the draconian aspect, because it is, you know, the police getting to dictate everything there. And don't get me wrong, if there's been a history of violence, you can understand a desire to increase security, but then going to that levels of extremes or trying to implement certain things at the behest of clubs, you think increasing stewards, security systems like the cameras, any additional removing fans from away games. Ironically, the costs that you're going to have to make sure that they're security standards, but then the police can still turn around and go, right, no away fans. You've had an additional cost on the clubs whilst reducing their revenue by removing all fans. And it won't just be away fans that will stop attending. It will be the home fans as well. You'll see a disillusionment. So if any ultras can't go, where are they going to turn their attention to? They'll turn it to the police, because they're the people that are dictating what they can and can't do with their teams. And don't get me wrong, I don't necessarily condone many of the actions that I've seen in the past of some of the clips of fans, but you have to understand that they're passionate for their teams, and it's rather than constantly beating them with a stick, it's maybe trying to actually have these dialogues and communications with the club, with the fans themselves, to see if you can police it in a better way. And I use the word police not as a, they dictate everything, but it's how do we manage it for the safety of not just the players or the police, it's the fans themselves.
Well, Steve, just to give you some perspective here, at the beginning of the season, back in the last season, there's an away supporter ban for all away supporters. It wasn't just like certain games. The police over the summer were effectively telling the CFA, we want a permanent ban on away supporters for this season. And then the CFA were like, well, let's meet in the middle. We're going to list some games that are high. What they call them? High risk or something.
Yeah.
And it was most games anyway, right? So only a certain amount of supporters can go to these games. But now, with this law being passed, or it's going to be passed anyway, the police can basically dictate whatever they want. So you know what's going to happen, right? But Bedros made a few comments here, right? Stewards, even today, are trained. You need a license, which you can take a few lessons and about €200. As for the narcotics test, they started doing it at night checks, but then stopped because of the cost. And they will do it at a stadium. No effing chance. This is Cyprus. But see, this is the thing, right? There is no clarity as to who's going to be responsible for doing the training for the stewards and also for doing the test, because you're going to have people doing that. Who's going to do it? The police?
No, they won't have the finances or the resources to do it for every game.
Right.
So they're going to pass it on to the clubs, and this is the thing, like they're either going to directly the clubs are either going to directly incur a bigger cost, or they're going to drive fans away because they won't be able to hold as many fans if they have to implement this.
Well, look, he says here tests only the police are allowed to do, which I get, but you know what's going to happen. It's going to come to a point where it's like, whatever. There's one in every 20 we're going to check.
Where's the staff for this? The police already complained that they're understaffed at these games.
Well, I mean, this is it.
Go
around in circles.
We can look back at the police cordon that they had for the AAAAALL game. Yeah, yeah. Remember that, where they only blocked a third of the concourse, so all the fans just went around them. Because there was where they needed about a wall of 30 or 40 people, they had 12. It's so stupid. The other thing as well is a lot of the measures that they're talking about in this set of laws that they put forward, they were already in place. They were supposed to already be doing this stuff. The Players Union and Spiros Neofitidis brought it up last year in march after one of the fans threw that high-powered firecracker at the player, said that the CCTV systems are already supposed to be upgraded. The security staff are supposed to already be well trained and licensed and blah blah blah. The police are already supposed to be doing a lot of the things that they're saying, that this is new stuff that they're supposed to be bringing into law, was already a law, and they were already supposed to be doing this stuff. So they're not proposing anything new. The alcohol tests and the narcotics tests, that was another thing that they were supposed to be doing anyway, that they've not been doing. So it's all a bunch of bullshit. They're all just
It's just lip service to say that they're doing it. They want to implement more, and
the thing is, you can implement facial recognition within turnstiles. That's going to cost money, which they don't want to do. They don't want to do.
I'm not being funny. You don't see it in the big leagues across Europe, where the clubs are getting multi-million pounds every year with sponsorship details, where they can afford to do it. If you're starting to implement that in leagues where they may not be as financially strong as, you look at your Real Madrid, La Ligas, your Serie A's, Bundesligas, you're just trying to cripple clubs financially and keep them down.
Yeah, and the thing is, Steve, the clubs that are going to suffer are going to be the big clubs like your Omonia, like your AAAAALL, Anorthosis, Apollon, etc. The clubs that aren't going to suffer are teams like Aris and Buffo. Not because let me tell you what, the Aris and Buffo, they're not going to suffer, not just because they've got bags of money anyway, because they don't have as many supporters. They ain't got that issue.
A lot of the smaller clubs are going to suffer, like your Baralimni, Akhna, Nea Salamina. Clubs like this are going to suffer because a lot of the finances are based off of away fans showing up when they're playing AAAAALL or Monia and places like this. So by getting rid of away fans altogether, a lot of those smaller associations are going to suffer massively because of it.
And I know we're sort of going a lot into this, but like where you have these quote unquote high risk games, is that not a case where you hold them on a separate night to the rest of the fixtures? So if you have week 3 of fixtures, you have like your midweek games on a Wednesday, you might have some midweek games. If you've got a high risk one, put it on a Thursday so that you can have the extra police there, you can have the resources and allow the fans to attend it.
Yeah, I mean, the way the league works, there's only really a maximum of 3 games that happens during the day.
Okay.
So they try the way they try to split it as well is they try to make sure there's only one league game in a city in one day. So you can, for instance, you're not going to have AEK and Anorthosis and Nea Salamina playing a game at home in Larnaca at the same time because
they're literally a stone's throw away from each other anyway.
So
wow.
They're literally a stone's throw away from each other. Their stadiums,
as well.
I wouldn't say stone's throw. The police might ban you.
Yeah. That's it. You've got riot police coming through yours now and firing rubber bullets at you. But it's a situation that's not going to solve itself easily, and it's one that we keep coming back to, and we'll keep coming back to every so often.
Yeah, we've got comments here. Look at this one. As for the narco test, they must do it, and if it's positive, hold the person and then go for a lab test to provide the validity of the narco test. So it's total BS. What about the Apollon, and the Alpha Mega? That's not a high risk game. Well, the CFA, the police have written to the CFA requesting that they ban away supporters for that game. They did it today.
Yeah.
Why they're not giving the fan card a chance to be implemented and work, or did they already roll it out? The new one won't be implemented yet. The digital one, that's not going to be implemented yet. So I don't know what's going to happen with that one. But the current one doesn't really.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So what is the? Sorry, I'm being dense here. What is the fan card?
So the fan card is basically it's a form of ID which gives you the ability to purchase tickets, but also attend games. So without this fan card, you can't purchase tickets and you can't enter a stadium.
And
Now,
that
this
fan
is
card has information like your name, your address,
photograph, ID, all that kind of stuff. And this is one of the reasons. In fact, this is the main reason why Omonia 29 supporters don't go to the home games, because in divisions 2 and 3 and below, you don't need it. But in the first division, you need it. So for the club that broke away to, because they didn't like the Omonia situation, they haven't attended their team in the first division.
Because I don't mean it's going to be like a massive windfall, but like from a tourist perspective, based on this theory, like no tourist could go over there and visit a game.
You can. Because when you do it online, and you just put like your hotel address and your passport number, and you'll get like an email with a QR code.
Like a QR code. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also,
so
clubs like Aris and Bafo, if you get in contact with them before the game, they will sort it out for you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. Anyway,
well, they're all going off now. George, with their own reactions, they've shown it doesn't work. Rebanya card, and we saw how it went for the Omonia Legia game. Yeah, that's when we had thousands of Legia Warsaw fans coming over to Cyprus, even though they weren't allowed to, and they still got in the stadium.
Yeah, they got into the stadium as well.
Yeah.
Even though they weren't supposed to be in Cyprus in the first place.
Yeah. So, it's a mad one. It's a mad one.
There's still one more game we need to talk about.
Two. Aris and Bafo.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Okay. Right. So, breathe, boys and girls. Breathe, boys and girls. Because Nea Salamina, with new head coach Bursa Ball, without a win under him yet, near the bottom of the table, playing Ari, challenging for the title, whatever could happen. Well, Salamina went 2-0 up in the opening 33 minutes. Mikhail scoring twice, his first goals for the club, both from set pieces. And congratulations to the guy. And just when we thought that an upset was on, Mayambella pulled one back for Ari. And then carnage, because Daniel Antosh was credited with an own goal, the Salamina goalkeeper. But
this
Thassos thinks that is a foul.
That's a foul on the goalkeeper, man. That's it's a foul on the keeper.
He's actually just
down.
He's actually got steamrolled after the initial punch.
But the thing is, when did it cross the line for it to be given as an own goal for him?
Probably when he was falling backwards after being shoved.
Hang about.
Push.
It went over the line there. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're holding him. They're pulling him down as he's trying to get to the second ball. I don't know. I mean, Aris were as soon as the 2-1, like the second half, it was all Aris. So they probably would have found an equalizer anyway. But that's not a goal.
What do you think, Steve?
You can't give that.
I mean, I've been one of them that moan about keepers being protected across other leagues all the time, but you've literally got about 6 players around him. He can't get up from the initial punch. He's been pushed to the ground just from where they just all got so close, and you can see the push. Like it's a free kick. It's
they looked at it on VAR as well for ages.
Yep.
Unfortunately, it's a free kick because even if there's not a shove, it's technically an obstruction because you're not allowing the keeper to literally stand his ground. He's being surrounded by It's I feel dirty saying it because I'm one of them that moan at how keepers are protected, but especially in a game like that where that was the equaliser.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and you think for a team, for New Salamias, like that's 2 points dropped effectively for them.
Yep, for sure. And there was more. Then there was more. Because what happened at full time was Alex Spilevsky decided to listen. Hopefully you get sound on this, but Spilevsky had a few words to say about the Salamina fans, who, not for the first time, were a little bit naughty. How shall we say? Let's bring it up. Can you guys hear it?
First of all, before we speak about football, we should speak about the environment again.
Πρώτα απ' όλα, πριν μιλήσουμε για το παιχνίδι, θα πρέπει να μιλήσω για το
I cannot accept this. After the game, again, they throw some things on my 2 assistants, 50 people against 2. Also 90 minutes, what I heard again from the stands, guys, again. Yeah, so I don't know what kind of sick people these are in the stadiums, but you must do something against that. Yeah, so this is not very friendly for the welcome for the guest team. So all the respect, but here the limit starts. Here the limit finish. Yeah, so come on. This is what's going on here in the stadiums? What's going on here in the stadiums, guys? Yeah, to hear die from cancer, mother, father, guys. By all the respect, yeah, come on. I don't want to speak about football, really.
Yeah, so what we said about not banning away fans, fucking ban them all.
Yeah, that's the home fans.
Oh shit.
Yeah, that's the home fans that were after him.
Yeah.
I will say as well, part of this is that Spilevsky uses fan behavior a lot to detract from poor performances from his own players. Like it's not the first time he's complained about home fans going after him and his players, especially when the performance hasn't been as good as what is expected of them. Now, Nea Salamina, the fans have a big history of spitting, of throwing things, of screaming insults, because the dugouts, the way the grounds are arranged, the Amorostos Epistrophi, is you've got the away fans behind one of the goals, and then you've got all the home fans. The big stand for the home fans is behind the dugout. And when you've got 50, 100, 150, 200 people behind you in the dugout screaming about your mom, your mother, your father, cancer, and the rest of it, it's not nice.
No.
It's not a nice thing to hear. I completely agree with it. And there's a reaction for sure. But there's also Spilevsky gets into trouble a lot for going after the opposition fans during the game. So he's been fined a lot for goading opposition fans during the game. Now,
so
I suspect...
I'm not saying he is. Is he one of them that gives it out but can't take it type thing? I'm not condoning some of the things that have been said.
But I also think that's the case. But as well, there might have been a reaction from him for something that happened. The fans have picked up on that, and then they've gone in on him. And then for the rest of the game, he's been stewing while the fans are going in on him on things that they're not supposed to say. Because he's a very, let's say, passionate.
Yes.
On the sidelines.
Well, think about it. We had the year when he was banned in the stands, and he had the sign, "I love my guys," as in he loves his players. There was it last season? Was it last season at Buffalo? We had the walkie-talkie.
Yep.
He was banned from the dugout, so he was in the stands with the walkie-talkie. What else is he? There's been other incidents, other little ones.
At the Alfamera, in the game between Aris and AAAAALL, when Aris scored, he went towards the AAAAALL fans, the away end, going like, ah, and then obviously the AAAAALL fans then jump on that, and then he goes and complains afterwards about the reaction of the AAAAALL fans because he's gone and celebrated in front of them.
It's
it
sounds
both.
Yeah, because I mean, I just saw one of the comments. It's not an excuse, even the Senegalese fans.
Yeah, this one here.
Like, I mean, he mentions about the cancer comments, and honestly, it goes. I think it goes without saying, stuff like that is not wrong. It's just distasteful and abhorrent.
Yes,
but
of course,
you're in a position as a manager, and this can be said for whatever level you're playing at. If there's spectators, if you engage with the fans in a negative connotation, it will only escalate. Yeah. And as I say, I'm not condoning what the fans have said, but when you react to it and when you sort of start going tit for tat, it always gets worse and worse and worse. And unfortunately, there will be someone who comes out worse from it. Oh, yeah. And sometimes it's an individual, sometimes it's innocent bystanders, sometimes it's the fans, but more often than not, it's everyone that ends out worse from it.
Yep.
I'm not condoning, as I say, keep reiterating, don't condone what the fans say, but as a manager, you are paid to not only get results for your team, but you have to conduct yourself in a manner which, I'll tell you what, there are times where you do want to turn around and absolutely slag off the fans or stick a finger up or swear at them, but you have to conduct yourself in a way where you're not fazed by it, because you invite more criticism and you invite more abuse.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not being funny. If I was standing on the touchline and you lot started ripping the piss out of me for having a bald patch, like on the back of my head, and I turn around to you lot, and I turn around and said something to you guys, you go, I've got him now. He's rattled. Yeah. We're going to carry this on. And it's horrible to say, but like, I'd question, and again, I don't know the ins and outs. Did they start making the cancer comments from the off, or did he instigate something that got worse and worse from both sides, and then it crossed the line?
That we don't know. What will end up happening though is, I don't know what happens in other leagues, but in Cyprus, the referee observers, there's also a match observer that kind of sits in the stands and keeps a record of what's going on in the game in the stands. So he'll be keeping an eye on what the coach is doing, what's going on the benches, what's going on in the stands. So it will come out in the wash afterwards.
Don't forget, he had the spat with Ajax fans this season and last season as well. And the Ajax Arena is very similar to Salamina Stadium. It's very similar design in terms of where the dugouts are.
Yeah, because I've had it in non-league before where the manager of the team that I was helping coach basically goes in at half time to sort of have a go at the official, or moans about official's decision, and the assessor was there. And sorry, it was after the game. He was moaning to the official, and the assessor was there like, you didn't help us because you done this. And it is sometimes one of them of, shit, yeah, mate, I've escalated it, or I've influenced the reaction in a negative way.
Yeah. Again, like you said, I will also say I do not condone the stuff that is being reported as being said. There was a call in from somebody at the game who there was a call in on the radio station from somebody at the game who was like, we can't be saying the things that some fans in the stand have been saying. And I completely agree with that. They shouldn't be saying it. But like you said, he's a head coach of a very successful team at the moment. He and he needs to be he needs to grow a thicker skin, let's say, especially during the match. So he can have a reaction afterwards, during the press conference like he did. He can talk about things like that. But knowing how he is, I suspect it wasn't a one-way street.
Yeah, I mean, Pedro says he he thinks that fans now in general just try to provoke him. And do you know what? He seems like a very highly strung kind of person.
Yeah.
But anyway, let's move on. Let's move on to the final game.
So, before we do, Aris have signed Adam Makiev, Finland under-21 international, played for RFS and scored for them in the last game of the Europa League phase.
Against Ajax.
There you go. So he has played 33 times in the league with 2 goals and 4 assists, and he's played 16 times in Europe for him, scoring 1 goal. So there he is. They've also loaned out Mamadou Sané. He's gone to Belgium's 2nd-tier club Frank Boin. He's joining some Brodathima. I'd call them veterans. They've had to sit through at least 6 months of Brodathima football. Sebastian De Vest, who was at AAAAALL, and Fostav Mabani, who was at AES. So it looks like they're specifically going for Brodathima players for teams in Limassol as well. But yeah, so they've got that one, and then there's this third transfer that happened, which has kind of gone under the radar still.
Yeah, Odi Abdullahi, Nigerian lad. They signed him on a 3-year deal, and then they've sent him on loan to Maxline Vitebsk. I think that's whatever. I don't know what that is, but it's a team in Belarus. So, let's see how this one pans out, because they seem to have a very good scouting system in Africa. You know, they've made the most of their opportunities taking players from Africa.
It's almost
like one team in Limassol knows what they're doing.
I was going to say, it's almost like one club has done that whilst another has
shit the bed.
Yeah. But yeah, that's
another way to say it.
Yeah.
Anyway, next.
Yeah, last game.
Final game, and Buffalo took advantage of Ari's draw with a 2-1 victory over Omonia Too Fast, Too Furious, as Thassos calls them.
2 Omonia Too Furious.
Yeah, sorry. Facundo Garcia giving them the lead before Thassos' favourite player, Delond, equalised with an own goal, and then Correa scored 6 minutes later. But this is one of the greatest own goals I've seen. He's nutmegged himself, backheeled it in as well. That's phenomenal. And this is a guy that was at Wolverhampton Wanderers, by the way. But Correa made it 2-1.
Yeah. I was going to say Delanda scored he scored an own goal in his last 2 games.
Yep.
I mean, he's consistent then.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So yeah, pretty straightforward victory for Buffalo, to be honest. I know it was only 2-1, but they pumped them. They pumped them.
Yeah, it could have been 5 or 6. The goalkeeper was pretty solid.
Strezzo, number 2.
Except for that second goal.
Yeah. But there isn't really much to say in terms of the game. As a straightforward win. What
about there was an incident, wasn't there?
Was there?
There wouldn't have been an incident if you believe the YouTube highlights. For some reason this didn't appear in the YouTube highlights.
Well, I don't know about this.
But did you not catch? You told me about Bruno doing something.
Was it me?
Yeah.
Look at him. He's denying all knowledge already.
No, I'm trying to remember. Oh, yes. You're right. Yes. It wasn't in the highlights, and I don't have that footage. But Buffalo's winger, Bruno, got away with a stamp. And it was naughty. It was very naughty. But again, didn't go to VAR, nothing.
Yeah. Not going to say anything about that, obviously.
We don't have the footage to show you lot, but he's got away with the stamp. And whether it be intentional or not.
Personally, Stel, I think you're making it up. If there's no highlights showing it, then it didn't happen.
Yeah, sorry.
And I think that's how we leave it.
Yes.
Well, and I'm going to change my address. Just in case.
Yeah.
It's okay. Yeah. It's all right. Don't worry. So, before we carry on, transfers for Buffalo.
Yes. Mustafa Name is gone. He's gone out on loan to CFR Cluj 1907 in Romania. And they've also brought in a couple of players. So one is Zvonimir Sarlia, he's a Croatian central defender. He's playing at Slaven Belupo, Koprivnica, NK Solin, CSKA Moscow, Kasim Pasa, Ankara Guku, Hajduk Split, and Panathinaikos. So that's a big list of teams. And then the other one is a Watford A signing. They signed Ken Sema from Watford, 31-year-old Swedish left winger, who's been at Watford since the summer of 2018. The Watford fans have taken to calling him King Sema. He was also on loan at Udinese in that time. Watford, Udinese, Bafor.
Never heard of that.
Anyway, he's played for Sweden 24 times. He scored a goal for him. He's got 384 first-team appearances with 43 goals and 67 assists, including in the Premier League, Serie A, and in European competitions.
Steve, what do you know about this lad?
The league is
Ken Sema. He's been a consistent player for Watford over the last few years. I think he became a fan favourite. I think it's the right time for him to go. In terms of, I think his minutes were starting to diminish a little bit, and I think when you look at someone of the career that he's had, when you're sort of near the latter stages of your career, you'd rather still be playing consistently in a top league. With what Watford are going through at the minute, with their desire to go back into the Prem, I think they need to look more towards younger players. Whereas I think for someone like Sema to be able to come over to the Cypriot League, with his experience that he's had, it can help Paphos move forward. I think it's a great signing in terms of the European competitions as well. I think it adds a lot more experience to the squad. Don't get me wrong. I think looking at the squad now, it's a very good squad already. I think it's a nice mix between quality, experience, and I'd say reputational as well. So it gets more eyes on the team from different markets across Europe.
Yeah, and you see, the thing is, you look at Buffalo's squad now. Defensively, they're sound. They've got enough players there. Midfield, they've got enough players there. In wide areas now, you've got a choice of Orsic or Jaja, and Jaja's been one of the best players in the league. They now got Sema and Bruno on the right-hand side, and just to take the piss even more, Tankovic can come back in the team. And they've got, obviously, Jairo and Anderson Silva, who are exactly the same sort of striker. Burly, strong, quick, can finish. I don't know what else to say, man. Like, it's scary. It's scary.
Yeah,
that's what I have to say.
I think it's done. But anyway, there's still a few games left of the season, but it's done.
Yeah, there is. But let's bring up the league table. The favorite part of the show. Thasso, go on.
Oh, there we go. Look, there's Bafos top, 52 points. Aris are in second with 48 points. AEK are in third with 44 points. Omoni are in fourth with 42 points.
10 points.
Abuela fifth with 36 points.
16 points.
Yeah, all right. Apollon are in sixth with 34 points.
20 points.
Anorthosi are in seventh with 32 points.
18,
The league's kind of decided for the second phase now already, more or less, isn't it?
Yeah, well, not quite
Just
yet. You've got that sixth and seventh spot because it's top six and bottom eight. But there's still something to be said in those areas. But yeah,
could you say even fifth place team is kind of teetering a little bit? Can we?
Yeah. Fine. Let me just do the table and then we.
So
we've got Achna in 8th with 23 points, AAAAALL in 9th with 21 points, Garmodisa in 10th with 20 points, Omonia Radipo in 11th with 19 points, Paralimni in 12th with 15 points, Nea Salamina in 13th with 13 points, and Omonia, Too Furious, still at the bottom there with 10 points. Beautiful. Right, now we can take the piss out of my team a bit more if you want.
I'm just asking the question.
Can I apologise to Petros? I've just seen
Oh
this
yes,
comment.
yes. Please tell Steve to stop talking about Sema. I'm going to start crying.
So 5th, 6th, 7th, that's still very much up for grabs. What I will say as well, that bottom 8, they're only going to play each other once this season. So you want those bottom 4, 5 teams to start picking up some points. Otherwise, it's going to get very tasty towards the end of the season. Especially, obviously, with Garmiotis bleeding players, Omoniara, Liverpool's form's gone out the window. Paralimni and Salamina are starting to pick up points, and AAAAALL are dropping like a stone. So I think the relegation fight is going to be a lot more interesting than the title fight this year, which is kind of the opposite of what happened last season.
Because with Nia Salamias, like if they go down, is the club threatened? Like in terms of, and the only reason I say that is because like I know they had the sister club in the UK, and that kind of it started off as a sister club, and then it kind of sort of lost its support. I think towards the end. I don't know if that was financial constraints or if it was just loss of identity.
Things are done different, Steve. Like in the UK, you've got like you mentioned Salamina. They're linked with the Cypriot one, but there isn't really anything
outside of really.
It's just like it's just the same people running. I want to say the same people running it. It's like
it
friends and relatives
of the club in Cyprus when they moved to England because of different reasons. It could be the invasion, it could be economic reasons, but whatever happened is they moved over there, fans of the club, and they created that club as kind of like almost like a second club. But there wasn't really a connection so much between the two teams.
Salamina's owners in the UK were financing them from their own pockets and couldn't afford to do it. And the thing is, Steve, if Salamina get relegated, it wouldn't be anything different for them because they were in the second division about 2 years ago. So the last few years they've been a bit of a yo-yo club. But to be fair, like before, they were able to find the gem here and there and sell them, like Chico Bantha, for example. And he went to Anorthosis, and only now Salamina getting their money, but they've been able to bring in extra finance through finding 1 or 2 players that were pretty decent, selling them at a good price, but just enough to keep the food on the table, keep the lights on. But now they don't have those players.
Yeah, I mean the other thing that they had going for them as well is over the last 2-3 seasons is they've had clubs go up that don't have the requisite stadium requirements. So they'll have a ground that they can't use in the first division. And teams like Garmiotis or AES, who are based in Limassol, who couldn't pay the fees to be at the old ground in Limassol because that's extortionate, would end up playing at Salamina's ground and paying them rent instead.
So they're getting secondary income from these clubs anyway. So they're
exactly. Now that won't change if Salamina get relegated because they've still got a ground that's suitable for the first division. So they could still, in theory, let other clubs use their ground as their home ground. So they won't suffer as much as, say, some other clubs that might get relegated. The one thing that they will have issue with is that they've poured a lot of money into bringing certain players in, and that hasn't worked out for them this season in particular. It's caused them a lot of problems. So, it's a very difficult situation for them at the moment. But it's something that will clear, I think, if they get relegated, because they've got a fan base unlike other clubs that are in the same situation. So, for instance, Paralimni, they don't have a big fan base. but they've never had a big fan base, so they've budgeted for that.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
Okay. Because just reading the comments, like last year they were fighting for top 6, and it's just
Yeah.
Yeah,
For the
they
last
were.
couple of seasons, they got close. But yeah,
because I know I've sort of touched upon it a few times with the different clubs throughout the season. Is it one of them where they've had a semi-reasonable structure, whether it be from scouting or getting good players in, and they've been reliant on finding the gems, and when they don't find the gems, or when they change their transfer strategy and go a bit reliant on 2 or 3 players, it goes tits up?
Well, it's been a tricky one because this summer just gone, they brought in quite a lot of over 30s. You know,
a lot of experience in the Brodathliba as well.
Yeah, in the Cypriot League, but they had the head coach. He got sacked. They brought in another guy. He lasted a couple months. He got sacked. Then they brought in a technical director. That's a little bit iffy. And then they brought in another head coach, and it so happens to be his 3rd stint at the club. So there's been no stability whatsoever. And it's obvious for me to say, but the most stable clubs are the most successful ones, and that runs true to the foreign clubs, the smaller leagues as well. Isn't just the Premier League. It's obvious that the clubs that have so much instability are going to suffer. But Salamina, this season, it's just been an utter mess. But fortunately, they've got a really good coach. So I don't know. Maybe he can work his magic again, because in his 2nd spell with them, they were playing some incredible stuff.
Yeah,
incredible stuff.
And they were really close to top 6.
Yeah. So anyway.
Now I'm gonna rush through 2 bits of news.
Yes.
So Bittas has gone from AAAAALL in Sweden. He's joined CSKA Sofia in Bulgaria.
Yes.
At AAAAALL, he scored 26 goals in 50 games, helping them qualify for European competitions this summer, while take part in Europa Conference League qualifying. I think it's a weird transfer for him, because Sofia they're in 8th place and 14 points off the European places in Bulgaria. But I'd say as well that AAAAALL were in a similar situation when he joined them last summer. But yeah, still a bit of a weird one. There's also a story that came out today that Ilias Haralambos had asked Gigi Bakal to try and get him to FCSB, but AAAAAL didn't like the offer that they'd received. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, but there's another strange story that came out this morning, and it's this guy.
Oh God, yeah. Timmy.
Apparently,
there he is.
Timmy the terrorist has applied for the Motherwell job.
This is the national manager that you absolutely hate, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh yes, former.
He's
not our problem anymore.
Balls. No. He's got no balls.
He's not our problem anymore, bro.
I just remember getting the odd after like the international break. I'd get a random message from Stel. Like I'd ask about, like, I saw Cyprus didn't do well, and then it's just like a 4 or 5 minute rant on terrorist ball, number of left backs, It had something like 2 left backs in the starting 11. None of them played at left back.
Yep.
It was just, you know, it's one of them. You know, when you get managers, it's like, I'm going to be different and I'm going to be creative. No, you're just being fucking stupid.
Play 8 at the back against Spain. Play 8 at the back against Spain. Still get dicked 8-0. But yeah, you know,
that's a warm up for Spain. Spain loved it against low blocks, just doing fucking rondos against them. So for them, it's no different. Sorry,
it's
Anyway,
it's incredible. It's incredible,
anyway.
But part of me, I got talking to somebody on Twitter about it, and they said, no, let him take the Motherwell job. That way he can leave us alone. Because there's people from certain clubs that are calling for him to be hired by certain clubs in Cyprus. So obviously, if he disappears away from Cyprus, people will
Everyone's
forget about
safe.
him. Yeah.
So Motherwell fans, he's an outstanding coach. You'll get results, clean sheets, you name it. Get
And
into European
if Davor ends up leaving, it's a coincidence. It's got nothing to do with.
Also, separate note, Motherwell fans, if you want to find out the odds on relegation, just have a look now.
Yeah, because he's been a bit of a disaster as a head coach outside of Cyprus.
I mean, I'm fine with this because I now know that if he does go to Motherwell, they're going to be on my accumulator every week.
And you just want to watch their games to hope that there's a microphone by the dugout so he can go, "You're fucking shit."
Yeah.
Don't.
You're fucking shit.
I'm worried that when I go on for my UEFA A course, I've got to mic myself up during training sessions and matches. If I ever get on,
I think you're gonna say I'm gonna bump into him.
No, that worries me. But don't I've started learning swear words in different languages. So, God knows what he's going to be like then.
That's one you have to learn. That's one you have to learn for sure.
Yeah, you'll definitely have to learn that one.
Right, one more segment, yeah?
One more, but before I get to Vrionides, we've also got another Cypriot player going to Poland. That seems to be a popular place for Cypriot players for some reason. We've got Konstantinos Sodiriou has signed for Corona Kielce. So he was in Israel for the last 12 months after being released by AAAAALL. He played 18 games so far this season already. He scored 2 goals. And he was on the bench this weekend for Corona's 1-1 draw with Legia. So there you
go. Okay. Nice.
And Jack Rolls has gone on loan from Crawley to Gateshead. So that will get rid of one of my weekly posts on Twitter, where Jack Rolls on the bench for Crawley every week. It's like I might as well just
paste drafts.
Just had it in drafts, just ready to go.
Yeah. There you go. Right. Yeah. We have a bit more time for one more thing, which is probably our favorite and your favorite, part of the show. Let's go.
It's time to spin the wheel. What is coming? We don't know. Spin the wheel now.
And here it is.
There it is.
Vrionides time. Spin the wheel. What has the sports judge come up with now, Thassos?
So, AAAALL fans apparently after the game last weekend. So not this one just gone with AEK, but the game before.
Salamina.
Yeah. Where it finished 0-0, didn't it? Yeah. After the end of the game, AAAALL fans broke into the changing rooms at the Alphamera Stadium and caused some trouble with their own team. Now, some issues happened between the fans and security, and loads of different things obviously occurred. And Vrionides has decided to punish them for this. I'm just trying to find the exact. So this is what he's put. So, complaint against the AAAALL in the match against Nea Salamina. 1, for throwing objects by fans of the team onto the field of play during and after the end of the match that were aimed at the players of the visiting team. That's the first one.
Okay.
The second one, for an incident caused by the fans of the team after the end of the match in the locker room. Fans of the team entered the locker room, knocked down the pole separating the area, and tried to enter their team's locker room, creating a disturbance in the locker room, which caused the intervention of the stadium security guards to remove them from the area. right? And the decision, the punishment for this is a penalty of playing one match behind closed doors and a fine.
Oh.
So, no fans at the next AAAAALL home game. Now, just my opinion on this, right, is how many times are AAAAALL going to get a ban on fans going into the stadium before points start getting taken off them?
That's the $3 million question.
Yeah. Because he's not even talked about what happened this weekend. So, if
That's
what
next week.
happens this weekend, if he has a look at that, in theory, right, what happened with AAAAALL last season, where they had the trouble in one game, and then they had the stadium, the stand closed for one game, and then the stuff at Nas Salamina happened, and then they got kicked out of the cup because of what happened last season in that game. You would expect, if AAAAL fans keep misbehaving, that points will start getting removed from their team.
Let's not forget, the reason why you guys got into trouble is because one of your fans threw a firecracker at an opponent player, an opposition player. Yeah. No opposition player's been hurt yet.
No
one's been hurt yet.
Their own players. They're going after their own players.
Well, I guess that's all right. I guess that's okay. If it's your own, this is fine.
The thing is, right, I'm looking at Aria at the moment, right? AAAAL are in 9th with 21. Danmodisa are in 10th with 20. Omonia Aradipo are in 11th with 19 points. And then it's Paralimni with 15, right? So between AAAAL and Paralimni, there's 6 points. If there's a points deduction, which, if you remember at the beginning of the season, they went, if there's trouble once, this is what happens. If there's trouble twice, you're going to get a fan ban. Third time, you're going to have more matches without fans. You have the fourth time, points deductions start happening. Now, they had the game against Apollon that had all the trouble. They had the game against what other games were there?
Wasn't it the cup game against Apollon?
Yeah,
was it a cup game?
Was there a cup game as well?
It wasn't a cup game. No, sorry, it wasn't a
there
cup
was
game. It was a game.
They've had 4 or 5 games at home where they haven't had fans in the stadium. So if they include the stuff that happened against AEK last week as well, they're gonna have points removed from them.
I don't know why they don't. I use
it happened against Omonia as well. Sorry, it happened against Omonia away as well in the cup, where it kicked off on the streets with their fans.
So I don't know why they don't like what they've done with clubs in the Premier League with the FFP. They get the points deduction, but it's only like 1 point. But they do the suspended points deduction. So, like, if you get in trouble once, fine, stadium ban. Second time, you get a suspended points deduction. So it's kind of like, if you do it again, you're going to get 3, 5 points, whatever. And if it happens in cup games, you ban them from the cup for the next season. And it's, look, I know I sound a bit more draconian with it, but that by doing it that way, you deter fans by punishing the team rather than the club as a whole, if that makes sense.
Yes.
Steve, they only take serious action when it's too late. So it's like I said before, Apoel got booted out of the cup last season because one of their fans threw a firecracker at an opponent, a player that was warming up. Again, I don't even know how that player is. Is he still playing? I know that he went partially deaf in one ear. We don't know. But they're only going to do something when someone dies. That's just how it seems. You know, a kid almost got hit with a firework last season in the stadium between AAAAALL and Apollon. They cancelled the game straight away, and they did what they did. But, like, you know, does someone have to die before they do anything?
This
is what I'm saying. There's no accountability. What they do is just go around in circles. This one blames that one blames that one, and this one and that one. What can you do? What can you do? But anyway,
I've got one more thing as well, though. This one is a little less serious. Is that something must have happened in the last the Yenis Morpho game, because I saw that like 5-6 different people have been fined in that game. So let me just try and find it again. Where is it? Right. So we've got Nedim Tutic, the head coach.
Oh,
has been fined.
What's the old man done? What's the fucking old guy done?
Andreas Ruhoris, who is the Yenis Morpho player. We've got Eric Sakaridis, who is an assistant for the Yenis Morpho. We've got Luis Enrique Guedes, who is a player for the Yenis Morpho. We've got Chrysovalandis Kabartis, our mate. He's been fined as well, because he also plays for Agridas Morpho, right? And it's for something that happened in the 33rd minute of the game and the end of the game. And and they're all for unsportsmanlike behavior. And they've all been fined, except for Andreas Ruhoris, who has been fined and banned for one game. Here we go. Unsportsmanlike conduct that he displayed after the end of the match towards the fans of the visiting team and towards the referee. So he did something serious compared to the other 4 people for the Yenis. But yeah, something went on in that game against FC Krasava that was off the chain.
Well, listen, it's not as entertaining as the under 15 games where we find out about fights and goalkeepers and goalkeepers giving a middle finger to their mate in the stands, and then the referee sends him off because he's inciting crowds
after the game. This was after the game. Yeah.
It's like your mate's battering you, like you idiot. You conceded a goal. He's like, oh, fuck off, boys, and all of a sudden, the referee's like, red card. What for? You inciting the crowd? They're my mates. Happened. True story. True story.
I mean,
or you know, the guy that found a bin during the game, ripped it from wherever it was, and then just threw it at the assistant ref.
I mean, I'm not going to lie. There are times I wish I did that to officials, but yeah. To be honest, I'm not overly surprised with the youth football stuff, because the more I see it across any country, youth football, like under 15s, under 16s, like all that, the fans are absolutely apeshit, and it's not just a Cypriot thing. This is because it's friends and family of the players. And half the time, they are actually there to egg their own fucking mates on. They're there to wind their own mates up rather than support them. But
there was a situation in one game where we read the description where there was an under-16s game and there was a fight between the fans and security had to get involved to separate them. But the way it was described, it sounded like a player had heard something in the stands, said to somebody in the stands about their mum, and then the dad had come down, tried to start a fight with that player, but that player's dad was also there, and then they ended up coming together and fighting.
It sounds like that scene from Green Street at the kids' football.
Yeah.
Just see the dads having a go at each other. Your son, you want to give it? It's like the kids are just playing in the background, just winding each other up.
Yeah, but the thing is, watching youth football in the UK is probably the worst because you've got dads that actually think they're tacticians. It's like, come on, son, you know you should have brought it inside. And I'm sitting there thinking,
I've never seen parents that live so vicariously through their kids. And it's like they're reliving their moments of, give him a kick. And it's like, your kid's like 16 and shit. Like, just accept that he's playing dog and duck.
Yeah.
And just leave it there.
Yeah, anyway.
Yeah, there you go.
That's it.
That's it.
That is that for Vrionides.
It's time to spin the wheel. What is coming? We don't know. Spin the wheel now.
There we go, boys and girls. That was another edition of This Is Mappa. I'd like to thank our guest Steve for jumping on board. I'd like to thank you, Thassos, for the hard work that you put in. And thank the viewers for jumping on. And there's been quite a few comments. There's one comment from Andrea. Let me find it. Where is it? It's a little bit concerning, actually. I didn't see this. First year of the fan card, I was going to the games, but now I'm afraid to go because I'm in a wheelchair. What's happened to you? Flipping hell. That's the guy, man. Fucking hell. That's blimey. Oh. The good thing is you can run people over. I'm just saying. You know? And you can get away quicker than everyone else. Because you got wheels, so
unless there's stairs.
Yeah, true.
Sorry.
Yeah, don't go in the Ike way, and remember they don't. They've got trouble with that.
Yeah.
No, serious.
Fuck new regulations.
Was it? Or did they get fined for it by Vrionides one week?
Yeah. But anyway.
Yeah.
Well, boys and girls, thank you for tuning in. That was This Is Mappa. Don't forget to give us a follow on X and Instagram at This Is Mappa. We've now gone up to, in the past 3 or 4 days, we've gone up from 900 followers to 1,214. In the last 30 days, let me just bring it up on my phone. In the last 90 days, views on our content have skyrocketed to 597,183. We're close to 600,000 views on short form content. It's more than what we get on the fucking videos on the YouTube podcast. It's incredible.
Wait until people find out you've had a drunk Luke Shaw on.
There you go.
I'm not drunk. I just look at it.
There you go. You just pretend you're drunk Luke Shaw. Yeah.
I'm just slurring my words. The heart's failed again. It's fine.
It's not, listen, you survived 2 hours of this, so you'll be all right.
Slash Vroclav.
Are you having the... If I start saying that club, if anyone who knows me watching it, if I start saying that club, I'm having the stroke. They're my last words.
That's your safe word. That's your safe word, yeah?
As the left side of my face droops.
Fucking hell. That's it for another edition.
Sorry.
Thank you for tuning in, guys. We'll be back soon.